A fellow by the name of Aaron Rodgers was on with Peyton and Eli talking about his recovery and what's next.
I think for me, you always have to set a goal. Otherwise, you go kind of crazy. And so the goal is to definitely come back. There's a lot of factors that go into that, but I got to, get to a point where I can protect myself and do what I do. But, to me, throwing on the field was just a way to feel normal. When you're away from the team and you're separated, being on the injured reserve list, anything you can do to make it feel like you're kind of a part of it. For me, it was just kind of getting back out there and messing around in the pregame warm-ups. To be able to walk out there without crutches and throw a ball around a little bit. So that gave me a jolt, and just having the mindset with my rehab every day to hopefully come back at some point.
Gave me a jolt too, Aaron. Gave me a jolt too. And so the next game we call is called Tell Me I'm Wrong. And here's what I want you to tell me. I'm telling you right now, the New York Jets can still win the AFC East. The Bills suddenly look very vulnerable, and the Jets have beaten them. The Jets have not played the Dolphins yet, and we'll see how healthy that team stays. The Jets do look like they are a team with a positive trajectory. The quarterback is playing better. The legend is coming back at some point this season. The defense may be the best team in the league. Tell me I'm wrong. The Jets can still win the division this year. Jeff.
You are wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong.
Coming up, am I high? I'm wrong, but am I high?
You are wrong. You are completely wrong.
Not high.
Listen,
Not
not
high.
gonna. The defense has created 4 turnovers or more. That's not a sustainable way to win. As much as you like the progress of the offense, it's going to hold them back. Whether it's Buffalo or Miami, they're not going to end up winning this.
3% chance to win the division.
3%.
3%
better. It was less than 1.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. I don't think it's likely to happen. I think what we've seen so far from Zach Wilson has been impressive relative to what we expected from him. But I don't think he's going to be good enough, or that offense is going to be good enough, or the defense, like Jeff said, is going to create enough turnovers for them to win.
They can win the division. It's a possibility, right? But the bottom line is if the Jets' defense is going to play the way that they did and they pick off the opposing quarterback 3 times, Zach Wilson protects the ball, and they get Garrett Wilson involved early in the game, yeah, they can be successful. But for the Jets, I'll give you a little tidbit here.
Gimme.
All right?
Go.
They got to start scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Right now, they're 32nd in the league in touchdown percentage scoring in the red zone. If they want to have a chance to win the division because some of these other teams are starting to falter, they have to score 7 instead of 3.
Obviously. And part of that, I think, is that they're afraid of the big mistake that Zach Wilson might make in that part of the field where everything gets so good. So what is the key to that? You tell me. It's easy. I don't mean to criticize the comment, but it's easy to say we need to score time. How do we do it?
Yeah, it's not wrong to criticize the comment. It's criticize their play calling.
No,
you're right.
Yeah. But are they afraid of missing out on the 3? They're trying to they're trying to win with defense, and they're saying, I'd rather take the 3 points here than wind up with nothing if he makes the mistake.
I think it's all situational. If you're in a game and Zach Wilson is playing well and he is seeing it well, then they'll take more chances in the red zone. If your defense is playing out of their mind, yeah, what coach wouldn't take 3 points? But I think they still have to unleash Zach Wilson if they're going to have a chance to make the playoffs. You can't just wait for Aaron Rodgers to come back. If there's no playoffs to be there, he ain't playing anyway.
Hey, Patriots are a good example this week, right? Because they had reason to doubt Mac Jones' ability to throw touchdown passes in the red zone, but the way he was going, they let it, the game plan was good and he was playing well. So yeah, look, to win the division, I think we're seeing the worst of Buffalo. I don't think they're going to be. I'm curious to see what they do by next Tuesday. Maybe they add a piece or 2 on defense, right, by the trade deadline. And Miami's going to be tough. Most weeks, Miami's going to look really good, right? They go into Philadelphia, they're not going to look as good. So I think it's an uphill battle for the Jets. I don't think he's coming back, but yeah, I think it's.
Oh, he's coming back.
He's coming back. And you used to say it best, right? Like, it's going to be hard to limit the Dolphins to 17 points. I know they just did, but if the Jets do that, they still might not score 17 points. That's your issue. Is how do you match score for score?
I'll put a little sunshine on this conversation for you. The first 6 games were the hardest ones for the Jets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They came out of that 3-3, which I think before the season we thought with Aaron Rodgers
would be great.
We would be excited for them going forward. They've done that without Aaron Rodgers.
Look at this, Nate. At Giants. That's a home game.
Winnable.
At the Giants.
Winnable game.
Home Chargers, ESPN game.
Winnable.
That's winnable.
Win at Raiders.
That's winnable.
Okay, now we're 6-3. Now someone talk to me here.
Yeah, but the thing is, those are also all losable.
No.
It's the thing. That's the problem when you don't have an offense that's reliable, that you can rely on the quarterback. When you have an offense that's based around Breece Hall and hoping that you create turnovers in short fields and hoping that MVP caliber quarterbacks throw you the ball at the end of the game. This is the problem with two of those wins that were of the three we're talking about. Was one, they had a punt return for a touchdown and 3 interceptions. The next one was Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions and then a really uncharacteristic one at the end. You're going to need that to continue to happen throughout the course of the season, and that doesn't feel likely.
All right, we'll see. So I think if there's one thing we took from this conversation, it's that I'm right, and the Jets are going to wind up winning.
Hear anything we said.
Not a thing.
That's good. I love it.
Here's
word.
Aaron Rodgers saying he's coming
I'll
back.
put this back in now. I wasn't paying any attention to you guys. I'm not listening. I have music on in this thing actually, as we're going through this. In the meantime,
The Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm hurt.
Not only did they take out the Dolphins on Sunday night, but then yesterday they make a trade with the Titans to get Kevin Byard, the great veteran safety, so they're better on defense. They won. They got better on defense. The Lions lost. The 49ers lost. Nobody had a better week 7 than the Philadelphia Eagles.
no, that's exactly right. And if you don't love those uniforms they were wearing the other night, we're just not friends. I mean, Graziano, how can you not love those unis?
I wanted to, right? But a week after the Buccaneers aren't, I was expecting to be blown away. I don't know. Anyway,
I loved them.
I know it's a minority opinion, but whatever.
Unreal. Who looked the best?
Nah, the minorities like those jerseys too.
Thank you. We love those jerseys. What you talking about?
That is not what I meant.
You set yourself up for that.
You shook him. He's going to get it.
I'm just here for laughs, baby. I'm just here for laughs.
Please. All right, I've lost complete control of the situation. Let's talk about the Eagles for a minute here. They do make the big trade to shore up an area that might have been their only area of weakness based on injury and other factors. The quarterback bounced back in a big way. All we talked about last week was the struggles of Jalen Hurts, the Jet defense, all that kind of stuff. He needed to bounce back. He played big. Right now, are the Eagles in a week-to-week league the best team in the NFC?
I think so, and I know that Jeff's going to get excited when I say this, but it's because what they do up front, man. That O-line and that D-line.
Give him a good ear.
That D-line
Go ahead.
are punishing people game in and game out, and it makes life a lot easier for everyone else. If it's not for a fluky screen pass that turns into an interception touchdown, they might have run away with this game a little bit earlier, and I think we all know how good Hurts is. He plays well in these great situations, and then that final drive gets Jeff real excited because every time they had a pivotal play, you know what? Let's just push right through, and it takes no courage to do that.
Shove.
I'll say this about Jalen Hurts, though. I mean, we know how good he is, and when we do.
Yes.
But this was a big night, I thought, for him. A big night coming off a bad game that let's face it, he gave that game away against the Jets. And it happens. Great players have bad games. What they don't do is have back-to-back bad games. I thought that showed you something for him bouncing back.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts has always shown us that his response to adversity is to come out on top at every level he's ever played.
Yeah.
The thing for the Eagles is they know their identity, fellas. Right? They know who they are. And I got to say it, A.J. Brown having 5 games of 125 plus yards receiving, he should be in the MVP conversation. 100%.
I agree with that.
Right? But this game was all about the defense as well.
Yeah.
They made the Dolphins average 3rd and 11. They won on early downs, put them in down and distances in bad situations, and they capitalized holding Tua and Tyreek to minimal yards.
Jump in here, Graz.
It's a statement by the Eagles, right? We're still the bullies here. We can still beat you. You can beat somebody 70-20 if you want, but you got to come into our place. We're going to make it tougher on you. Look, with Hurts, he's a little turnover-y right now, isn't he? Like a little. If there's an area of concern, it's that. But to RG's point, there's very few guys in the league that have shown an ability to improve as time goes along.
The Eagles are winning games when Jalen Hurts isn't playing out of his mind.
Right. Yeah.
So that to me means they're going to be more dominant as the year goes on as he rounds in the ship.
I want to say something to Jeff that Rex said yesterday, sitting right there. The first words out of his mouth on the show, I said, "What does Eagles-Dolphins tell you?" He said that at the end of the day, power teams beat finesse teams every time.
It's facts. And when you think about the Dolphins, they've been rushing for like $180 every week. They get shut down by Philly's defense. They make them one-dimensional, keep Tua in the pocket. And you know Tua can't pull it down. You worry about injury concerns of him pulling it down. But you look at the Eagles. Here's the other part about Jalen Hurts to me is Nick Sirianni. Let's give him credit. He does not back down on aggression. Whether it's the tush push, whether it's pushing the ball down the field with Jalen Hurts, he's not moving off the mark, and his team plays to that. Again, like you said, basically gave the game away against the Jets. They didn't come back and take their foot off the accelerator, man. Gas down, let's get this thing going. You have to love that type of mentality from their coach because it fits the personality of their football team.
Also, Jalen Carter was a good pick.
Yeah.
I'm willing to
Not
go out
bad.
on that limb.
Really? You're gonna go on the limb?
I'm gonna
I want to
go
come
out
back,
and stand
Artie,
by
our
that.
producer, Artie. I want to come back to the thought of A.J. Brown being in the MVP conversation. If you look at players who are having the most significant impact on their teams this year, we all know it's a quarterback award. He should be in the discussion. Let's come back to that as we go.